안녕하십니까, 정철입니다. 정철의 요셉이야기 영어로 통독 암송 21번째 시간입니다. 말씀은 Genesis 37, 29 through 30, 창세기 37장 29절에서 30절까지 말씀입니다. 자, 다 함께 구해주실까요? 준비 시작. 성령 충만 영어 능통와. 지난 시간의 내용을 보면은 So when the Midianite merchants came by, 그래서 미디안 상인들이 옆으로 지나갈 때 His brothers pulled Joseph up, 그의 브라더는 조셉을 끌어내서 어디서? Out of the cistern 구덩이로부터 끌어냈습니다. And sold him, 그리고 팔았어요. 얼마를 받았냐? For 20 shekels of silver, 20 셰켈의 은을 받았어요. 누구한테? To the 이스마엘라이트한테 받았어요. 근데 이스마엘라이트는 이 요셉을 어디로 데려갔는가 하면 Who took him to Egypt, 이집트로 데려갔습니다. 자, 오늘의 내용 들어볼까요?
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?
자, 볼까요?
When Reuben returned to the cistern,
When 루벤이 returned to the cistern, 그 웅덩이로 되돌아왔을 때 루벤이 어디 갔었나 봐요. 요셉을 미디안한테 팔을 때 자리를 떴는지 하여튼 없었어요. 근데 루벤이 return to the cistern, 시스턴으로 되돌아와서
and saw
그리고 봤어요.
that Joseph was not there,
조셉이 없었어요. 시스턴을 딱 들여다보니까 비어있는 거야. So that Joseph was not there. 조셉이 없는 거를 보자. 어떻게 했느냐?
he tore his clothes.
He tore his clothes. tore는 tear의 과거형이죠. tear. 찢었어요. 옷을 찢었어요. 이 옷을 찢는다는 것이 가끔씩 나오는데 옛날 히브리인들의 습관이라 그래. 히브리인들이 풍습이 극도의 좌절이라든가 극도로 슬프다든가 극도로 화가 났다든가 그럴 때 그것을 표출하는 방법이 옷을 찢어요. 이 옛날에 이 사람들의 옷은 잘 찢어지나 봐요. 그죠? 요새 우리 옷 같으면은 이거 찢어지겠어 이거? 재봉을 잘 해놔가지고. 근데 이 사람들은 he tore his clothes, 자기의 옷을 찢고 그 다음에 뭐 재를 뒤집어 쓰고 여러 가지 말 나오는데 he tore his clothes. 옷이 아마 바느질이 대충 했나 봐요. 그죠? 옛날에 뭐 솜씨가 오죽했겠어. he tore his clothes. 옷을 찢어. 하여튼 이 옷을 찢는다는 것은 극한적인 좌절, 극한적인 민망함, 극한적인 슬픔, 이런 마음의 괴로움을 표현할 때 이 옷을 찢어요. He tore his clothes, 옷을 찢었습니다. 그리고는
He went back to his brothers.
He went back to his brothers. 그리고는 자기의 brother한테 되돌아갔어요. Went back to his brothers.
And said,
그리고 말하기를
The boy isn't there.
The boy isn't there. 소년이 거기에 없어. boy는 조셉 말이죠. The boy isn't there. 소년이 거기에 없어. 그러니까 내 생각에는 그 팔아먹자라고 의논할 때는 그때는 있었던 것 같아. 그죠? 그랬으니까 없어졌으면은 뭐 얘가 뭐 화장실 갔나 뭐 등등 생각할 수도 있는데 없으니까 팔았구나. 이렇게 된 거지. 그래서 the boy isn't there. 그러니까 어디 갔다가 오면서 내가 가서 잘 얘기해서 얘를 구출해야 되겠다. 이렇게 생각했던 것 같아요. 장자니까. 근데 와보니까 벌써 팔고 없어. The boy isn't there. 거기 없다.
Where can I turn now?
Where can I turn now? 직역하면은 어디로 내가 돌아야 될까? 내가 어느 쪽을 향해서 돌아야 될까? 아무데도 갈 데가 없다. 아버지한테 가야 되는데 아버지한테도 못 가. 내가 그러면 어디로 돌아서야 되는 거야? 내가 이 상태로는 아버지한테 가지 못해. 왜 그런가 하면은 아버지가 제일 사랑하는 형제가 조셉 아니야. 조셉을 팔아먹었으니 나는 그럼 어떡하냐. 내가 제일 큰 아들인데. Where can I turn now? 내가 어디로 돌아선단 말인가. 돌아설 데가 없어요. 참 대단한 장면이죠. 한 번 더 가봅시다.
When Reuben returned to the cistern
루벤이 시스탄 웅덩이로 되돌아왔을 때
and saw
그리고 봤어요.
that Joseph was not there,
조셉이 거기에 없는 거를 봤을 때
he tore his clothes.
자기 옷을 찢었어요.
He went back to his brothers
그리고는 자기의 형제들한테 되돌아갔어요.
and said,
그리고 말하기를
"The boy isn't there.
그 보이가 거기 없어.
Where can I turn now?"
내가 어디로 돌아선단 말인가. 내가 갈 곳이 어딘가. 아버지한테도 못 가. 나는 이 얘기는 못해. 이런 거 하는 거예요. Where can I turn now? 의역을 하면 뭐 아버지께는 뭐라고 말씀드린단 말이야. 뭐 이런 등등의 얘기지. 자, 들어볼까요?
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?"
한 번 더.
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?"
자, 따라하기.
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?"
한 번 더.
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?"
쉐도잉.
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?"
한 번 더.
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?"
한 번 더.
When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?"
재밌죠? 자, 그러면 엄지척 좋아요 눌러서 추천해 주시고 아직도 구독 중이 아닌 상태로 듣고 계신 분은 구독을 눌러서 구독 중으로 바꿔주시고 그 다음에 공유를 눌러서 이 재미있는 강좌를 모르고 계시는 분들에게 이 강의 동영상 링크를 보내주시기 바랍니다. 자, 그럼 라이팅 끝까지 꼼꼼하게 하시고 약 10분간 반복 낭송해서 입에서 술술 나오도록 연습해 두시기 바랍니다. 자, 그러면 10계명을 함께 낭송하도록 하죠. The Ten Commandments. 1. You shall have no other gods before me. 2. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything, and you shall not bow down to them or worship them. 3. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. 4. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 5. Honor your father and your mother. 6. You shall not murder. 7. You shall not commit adultery. 8. You shall not steal. 9. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. 10. You shall not covet your neighbor's belongings.
Genesis 37. Joseph's dreams. Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. This is the account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, because he had been born to him in his old age, and he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him, and could not speak a kind word to him. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brothers said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Joseph sold by his brothers. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem, and Israel said to Joseph, "As you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I am going to send you to them." "Very well," he replied. So he said to him, "Go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me." Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, "What are you looking for?" He replied, "I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks?" "They have moved on from here," the man answered. "I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. "Here comes that dreamer," they said to each other. "Come now, let's kill him, and throw him into one of these cisterns, and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Don't shed any blood. Throw him into this cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him." Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the ornate robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. There was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites, and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?